think he was like a worm colony. I'm not even sure he was a single organism.
I don't even know. It's just Star Wars has too many races.
Yes. So, shall we get this party started?
Nope.
All right.
Because I got a couple of things. I got a couple of truths to lay down on here on this podcast.
As long as the first truth is Guardians is greatest thing ever, we're good.
Well,
Let's
what?
not make that the first truth. Let's start off with a case of bad medicine and then make ourselves happier.
Okay.
AKA Space Wolves.
And so, speaking of that, hello there, Fearless Gamers, and welcome to another podcast here on Fearless Games. I'm Matt the Vet, and today I am joined by...
No one.
No one at all.
No one.
The wild card was here.
The wild card
and the
Stark. Who, if you haven't read one of our more recent podcasts, the wild card fired some shots at you about your name.
That's fine.
Wasn't the Star Lord there when I said you could you could just be called the Lord if you're going to take out one with names?
No, I was there for that. I was totally there for that.
You were not there for that.
I was definitely there for that.
The Lord.
I was there for that.
I was not actually present for that. I phoned that one in.
So apparently you weren't. Okay.
Listen, enough. Done. We're talking about some Spaceful stuff right now. I got issues.
Space pups?
I got
with
issues.
Murder Face?
And I need some tissues. But, firstly, Spaceful Venerable Dreadnought, fine. I don't have no problem with a axe-wielding, shield-wielding Dreadnought. Why not?
Apparently you got the Storm Shield.
You got hands. Why not?
Apparently it gives him a 4-up invuln save.
Which is pretty ballin' for a Dreadnought. But, Bjorn the Fell-Handed, perfectly looking. The
pretty
problem
awesome.
comes with Murder Fang. Who has a Dreadnought without a helmet on the guy's head?
He's dead. What does he need a helmet for?
He's not dead. He's near death. He's in a sarcophagus.
You never seen this on Star Wars?
I am just looking at this now.
He's unhelmeted.
No.
And here's my issue with Murder Fang.
No.
Here's my issue with Murder Fang.
Hold on. Wait a second. No. Okay.
Nope.
You can continue now.
He was found roaming a planet. What chapter loses a Dreadnought?
Wait, that's his stick?
His background is that he's a metal-skinned monster found roaming the hell world of Omnicide. It is clearly a Dreadnought, yet they don't know the identity of the noble hero. You can't tell me that you didn't go through your Dreadnought stock as a Space Wolf tech brain guy and go, hey, we're down a Dreadnought. Where'd Billy go?
Don't I was about to say, don't these things have like cubby holes with their name over there?
Yeah, there's a big hole missing over Billy in Billy's stockade. Where'd Billy go? Oh, he's on there's this Dreadnought of our doing on this planet. All right, well, you're gonna have data on this guy. You should know who he is. Why doesn't he have a helmet? Because right now, when you think about it, he's a walking tank. He's supposed to be a walking tank. That means a walking sealed destruction machine. You can't seal when you don't have a helmet on. You can't use this Dreadnought in space.
Yeah. One thing I saw, there was this great photo I saw. Someone took that picture and they superimposed Murder Face from Death Clock over the guy's head.
That's good.
Murder Fang, I'm going to call some things out here. First off, Murder Fang's the dumbest name ever. It sounds like a 12-year-old named it.
I don't mind the name. Look at him.
He looks dumb. You're right. The whole point
of the power claws.
The Dreadnought is a just about dead, pretty much good as dead, mostly dead Space Marine hero put into
a kind of
cybernetic sarcophagus to keep them alive. It's just their brain is working. Everything else is digital, analog, whatever they have in the future. This makes no...
Well, their bodies are still in there.
Yeah, but the brain, it keeps the brain alive so they can do stuff. Like RoboCop, he's just a head
think about it. A lasgun could kill Murder Fang, because now he's unhelmeted.
It's true.
Yeah.
Look, people, helmets are important in war. You should wear them.
Also, why I don't understand the need to basically go, we want to be a Furioso Dreadnought, let's make one up. Why can't the Blood Angels just have the Furioso Dreadnought? I'm not saying it's exactly the Furioso, but it's basically the Furioso.
Also, I'm gonna semi-defend them not knowing who he was, because in Age of Strife they lost a lot of stuff. So it's like, it was one of these four cubbies, but yeah, his name should be written on Obama's foot, like, Andy, it should be written there.
But wasn't the Age of Strife before the Heresy?
The Age of Strife... Well, what Strife age are we talking about? Because there was this whole big apocalypse thing before Space Marines ever existed. And then
there was the Age of Strife.
And there was other stuff.
Then there was the Great Crusade.
It's established that Bjorn's the oldest known Space Marine dude in existence.
Well, they just said this was from the Age of Strife, so maybe now he's the oldest. Because let's mess with everything.
Right, but I'm just saying, I thought the Age of Strife was before they made Dreadnought.
I don't know. It doesn't matter because there's numerous Ages of Strife just called different things.
Yep.
Like the
Age of the let's see. Incursion says Bjorn... Oh, this is still... Oh.
Now
I do dig this Venerable Dreadnought, though. The Venerable Dreadnought, I think, is snazzy.
Yeah. They describe him that he'll stomp you, he'll claw you up, and then he'll bite you. Really? We gotta bring biting into this with a Dreadnought?
No.
First off, his hands can't bring the dude to his face to bite it.
Let's see. Named murder thing by the Space Wolves, this metal-skinned monster was found roaming the Hellware.
Yeah,
it clearly is a Dreadnought. I still love that.
Well, you gotta...
In times... Oh,
you have to remember, Space Wolves are kind of dumb. They're like, what is it? Well, I guess it's a Dreadnought. It kind of looks like a Dreadnought.
The Stark, I think you misinterpreted. It went in times of Great Strife, not in times of the Great Strife.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, basically when Space Wolves we're really screwed right now, release this homicidal maniac in Dreadnought.
So, I missed the... Yeah, I read that wrong.
The Great Strife was when everyone went to other planets and then we lost contact with them before the Emperor found them all again.
Now, the thing is, though, the Venerable Dreadnought and Bjorn look fantastic.
They look great.
Yeah. This guy would look fun if they just put a helmet on him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do you have to bring biting into this? You can't reach. My biggest problem, though, is not Murder, whatever his name is.
Murderfang.
My biggest problem is Logan Grimnar on his stupid... looks like something... He's on a chariot that looks like a Viking ship, pulled by wolves.
Yeah, it's the stupid anti-grav thing. It's not on yet.
Pictures. I'll give you a link in a sec.
It's the stupid... Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. The model himself, the dude, he's pretty ballin' looking.
And if you compare him to his older self, he's way better.
That boat is so... I sat there and I was like, what is this? Basically, they gave him a jet bike.
They didn't even give him a jet bike. It's being pulled by wolves.
Yes, it's a jet bike that doesn't have forward propulsion, so they gave him some from the Blood Angels and the Dark Angels.
Here's my problem with this.
You broke them. You broke the Stark.
You know what it is? It's not a jet bike, Matt. It's a pod racer. They gave him a pod racer.
Oh, God, you're right. That is a pod racer.
Just replace the wolves with engines. It's a pod racer. Someone do that.
And they even, if you notice, they even put a little piece of water underneath him so it looks like he's going across ice.
Well, yeah.
That's fine, because their planet's covered in ice a lot, but I'm not a fan of this thing because it doesn't scream 40K at all, the construct it's on.
It seems more like fantasy.
It doesn't really feel fantasy. I would be less of a problem with it if it was like the Asgardians boats that they use in Thor movies, where it's just flying by itself.
Yeah, the wolves are a little at the top.
Why does it need to be pulled by wolves? Again, not something you can use in space.
You know what really bugs me about it? It's practically a jet bike. You know who's supposed to have jet bikes?
Not
the Eldar.
That's the Space Marine. You know, the oldest chapter with the best old tech.
Yeah,
the Dark Age.
Yeah. I'm gonna go curse at some Space Wolves right now because they ain't supposed to have this crap.
Look at this thing. I understand that you want your big bad. Logan Grimnar is a big bad when it comes to the special character world in terms of fluff. He is a heavy hitter, and I understand you want a pimp ride for your big pimp, right? Marneus Calgar has a pimp ride. It's called a regular Land Raider that's been converted up to look awesome. You know what it is? That's practical.
Yes.
This thing, and I've seen some people say it's awesome, and I'm wondering how do you...
I see the potential in it, but I hate all the wolf iconography and the clearly
I don't mind
pseudo-Nordic
the wolf. I don't mind the wolf head on the front because that's very Space Marine.
Yeah, having a head thing. If that was Raven Guard, I'd have a Raven head.
Even Elena here is like,
But like,
it's a thing.
It's like they went. It's like they went and said, "Well, Necron's got a chariot. Let's give the Space Wolf Lord a chariot, right?" But the thing is, I don't know what his rules are going to be. But if it counts like a jet bike, I'm calling a whole bunch of BS because those are very clearly wolves pulling it.
Yes. If
they're all terrain wolves.
It's going to be a fast jet bike.
But you can't go. Then it should not be able to go over like water and stuff because they sink. Here I go. But I just don't understand. Like. Looking at it, the concept of giving him a chariot is fine, right? If they Silver Surfered it a little bit, that would have been fine. But what we're looking at here...
Some Eldari-looky stuff.
Yeah, what we're looking at here, though, is something that... And this is... Remember what I said earlier, before we ever started anything about Space Wolves? One of my problems was they're mixing too much stuff together. Yeah. They're going overboard here again with it. I get the whole Nordic, Viking, Guardian, werewolf thing, but come on.
Okay, first we had Space Marines. We're like, all right. Then we said they were Vikings with axes and they loved drinking. We're like, okay, it's cool. Then we said they were werewolves, and they were like, okay, you're a little pushing it. And then we gave them floating jet bike folks. Now hold on.
And you know what it is? Everything about the werewolves, the Space Wolves are a little bit contradictory. When you look back into the Thousand Sons novel for Horus Heresy time period,
yes,
the Thousand Sons every so often. One of their members gets mutated, and Magnus tries to calm him down and, kind of tries to reverse it.
And saves them.
Leon Russ shoots one dead, saying, you mutated scum type of thing, you're not worth it, keep your things in check. But yet they have the Wolfman out in broad daylight. It's like, really? You're gonna do that? And I would prefer no jet bike pimp mobile thing for Logan Gurnar and bring back Wolfman as a squad instead of Marco the Wolfman to give your guy D6X.
Yeah, I honestly miss the werewolf squad. I'm going to be honest.
As much as I hated them, I think that would have been a better thing to bring back.
I really, I think you keep the Mark of the Wolfen for like a couple of guys that might get messed up, but like it was a whole thing. But I guess it was too Death Company in some people's opinion. But I like the whole werewolf squad. I could have played around with the rules with that and done some silly things with it. Plus, I like werewolves, and that would have been nice.
Right, but like...
I do love werewolves, but I'm sorry, I keep seeing the wolf and I'm like, why aren't these people burned yet?
I know, heretic, man, right? Like,
and the thing is, they fought against the Ecclesiarchy a lot. I don't understand why... I guess it's the whole thing, well, they're so awesome, we gotta keep them around. They had a poor
Inquisition and lost. That I find wrong.
Yeah, this is the old Logan Grivner, by the way, and the new model is a vast improvement.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, and no problem admitting that. But the chariot boat...
No, the chariot boat thing is just dumb.
It's
just full-on stupid.
I was like, all right, you want wolves to fight along your side? Doesn't make any sense. They're going to drop quick against battle tanks, but whatever. Then he went, we got thunder wolves that we can ride. And I went, you realize cavalry charges didn't work at all the last time we did it in a world war, right? All right, whatever. You're gonna
who's the last cavalry charge? Was that the Polish against tanks? Like that's what people make fun of.
Yeah.
They didn't have anything else. It's a bad idea.
People will cite Khorne with the skull crushers and all that. Here's the difference: those are demons riding demons encased in demon armor. It's a bit more believable.
Actually, James, I think I have a better picture here.
I mean. They're still wolves. Like, when you throw demon entity into this, the rules change a bit, because you're basically a supernatural being. I mean... Yeah. So then they're not even thunder wolves, I don't think. They look just like regular Fenrisian wolves pulling them. The scale could be off, maybe they are thunder wolves, and it's just a scale of how big this thing is.
Here's a full image of it. It's a very small image, but here's a full image that's not as blurry.
I gave it the bigger one just to focus on the chariot. But he looks fine. I imagine...
He looks fine.
He looks pretty epic. He looks like old, awesome dude with giant axe.
Yeah. Now, I don't know...
He's been around the block.
I don't know...
Oh, you know what they're totally going to do for his rules, by the way? Just because they give Space Wolves everything. You see that big axe there? Yeah. It's going to hit an initiative.
Probably.
I guarantee it.
Probably.
They love them as Space Wolves.
The Space Wolves are like... Even though, like, the Dark Angels are, like, the supposed, like, poster child, the Space Wolves get everything.
Well, it's not even that. If his axe can hit an initiative, I'm going to say, what about Commander Dante, who's older than Logan? He's been wielding that axe for as long as Logan Gunnar's been alive. I imagine he knows how to strike with it. But, and here's the deal. He looks fine. You're probably going to have to buy him with the chariot thing. It's probably just going to be the way it is. I hope it's just for Logan, and I hope it's not an HQ option upgrade, because then we're gonna have some problems. I mean,
rumor that I've heard says it's only for him.
Good, and again, he's got a Codex supplement coming out with the special edition, super special edition book, which is really cool. I like that concept, and we're going to see more about his great company.
Which apparently is going to be separate in a 2 weeks or so after the Codex comes out.
Yeah, it is. But if you want to get it with all the cool stuff, you got the option, which is fine. I just don't see... People may dig it. There's people out there who are going to dig anything. And they may dig the whole chariot thing we're looking at here. And if you do, good for you, whatever. I'm not saying...
More power to you.
More power to you, but when you think about designing a Space Marine chapter a little bit, and now we're not keepers of the IP, we don't know what's going on in their heads.
Yeah.
This is not what I would have suspected for Space Wolves. I would have suspected something different. I wouldn't have suspected a pimp mobile like this to be, and it's so out of place. There's nothing else in the Space Wolf inventory that looks remotely like that. It's a sore thumb. If the Space Wolves had decor and upgrade stuff that was sold by Forge World or GW to have a more theme like that amongst things, for their vehicles and whatnot, it'd be a bit of an easier pill to swallow. But this is out of nowhere. Literally, I've never seen anything Space Wolfy like this before.
Well, now you're going to see coming up. They're going to have some hover transports,
skiffs.
And they're going to be skiffs, and they're gonna basically be jet bikes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hovered.
And they're going to be like, it is rumored that the Dark Angels have the only surviving jet bikes, but in truth, the Space Wolves have a much larger, vast quantity of them.
And I want to make it clear, this isn't as a Dark Angel fan attacking Space Wolves.
Yes.
This is as a fan of things that are cool attacking things that are dumb.
Yes.
I'm just attacking Space Wolves because they just keep getting stupider and stupider.
Well, that's my point. I don't understand. I don't understand the thought process. Now, updating Logan Grimnar, fantastic. This Viking
great job.
Weird. Bjorn getting a model back, fantastic. Murder Fang without a Dreadnought without a helmet just never made sense to me.
Why?
I mean, it doesn't make any sense. The whole point is he's supposed to be encased in a sarcophagus.
Yes. Did they not read what happened in Battle of the Fang? If Bjorn's head was exposed, he would have been dead.
Right. I don't know. It's a little bit weird, but what you're going to do, I guess. This Codex is coming out. I'm curious on the rules for things, and I'm curious what they're going to get. Now, my biggest problem will be in terms of fluff and rules. If they just let them deep strike via teleportation like it ain't no thing, then I'll have an actual legitimate issue.
Because they don't deep strike.
They don't do that. They don't trust it. That's always been the thing
teleportation.
And
unless they retconned it and go, when they were drunk one day, they discovered that it was actually okay to teleport.
So, if they get that in terms of the rules, like the Terminators and whatnot, they can and if you see a thing called teleport homers in their book and whatnot, then I'm going to have an actual legitimate issue with the Codex. Right now,
what's going to happen is their drop pods are going to have locator beacons.
That's fine, because that works for deep striking. That's not deep striking in general. Teleport homers are specifically for teleportation. Locator beacons are fantastic. I think they're a great idea. It would make sense, especially if you don't teleport.
That's true. I keep forgetting that locator beacons are just so you can fall from the sky better.
Yeah, it gives you a more accurate way to plummet to the earth, basically. But right now my issue is aesthetics. If they start messing with that stuff that's been established in Space Wolf rules and fluff, then I'm going to have an issue overall. But right now, I want to make it clear for those gamers, aesthetically, I find some stuff annoying. Like Murder Fang.
Murder Fang. Murder Face. I'm going to call him Murder Face.
He's Murder Face. Just call him Murder Face.
So now we got that out of the way.
I think I want to get a copy of Murder Face and give him a giant guitar. And just call it a day.
Those are batteries. We don't have.
He comes in a kit that can make any of the 3 Dreadnoughts, which is a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's a 3-kit set.
Oh, so you can buy.
You can either make Bjorn,
and you can have
the Venerable, or the Murder Fang.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
But that also means you can do some fun, easy conversions and give a big axe to
Bjorn.
Yeah, to Bjorn. Bjorn needs more cool things.
Well, he's gonna get a frost cannon or whatever, which sounds cool. But
yeah, frost cannons, from what I've read, are pretty good.
Are they gonna be like sky cannons?
I don't know.
No, they're a heavier strength and I think a slightly lower AP value. But they're closer to a las cannon without being a las cannon.
So they get ice beams.
Yes.
Now, if anybody out there wants to field Murderfang in your Space Wolf force, may I give you the recommendation of just utilizing the central sarcophagus or utilizing the front plate of the Venerable Dreadnought, and just call it a day. Just equip him with the right weapon.
Or give him that wolf mask.
Just
for the Venerable Dreadnought.
Give him the Venerable Dreadnought front, because there are two different fronts, and the way they usually build them is that whole front part will be one piece. If you look at the Blood Angel Dreadnoughts, all you gotta do is use the Venerable Dreadnought front plate, give him the murder, whatever weapons he has,
the murder claws.
Give him the claws, and there you go. Just don't, for the life of every Space Wolf player out there, don't field an unhelmeted Dreadnought. Come on, people. It's the only thing I ask of Space Wolf players.
It's the only thing you ask of every Space Marine. Wear a helmet.
Is it so? Tactical readouts right there. Every filter. Sealed environment.
There's something else that kind of related to that they did. How in Angels Exterminatus they had that one Iron Warriors dude going like, "Do you people like getting shot in the head because they don't have the helmet on?"
Yeah.
You know how Azrael has the helmet bearer following him?
Yeah.
There's a book where Azrael is fighting Kron the Betrayer.
Yeah.
And Kron's just sitting there going, "Why are you bother sneaking around? I see your dude just standing there in the open." He constantly comments how he would be a really good master stealth if that little helmet dude would hide behind a rock.
Yeah, and the thing about that, if I could easily enough, and it's not easy to do, I would convert Azrael to make him wearing the helmet, because people have done it. And he has worn it before. It's not like he's never worn it. He has worn it. But, while I don't like unhelmeted stuff, the helmet bearer, the helmet emits a force field. It's the only time it's kind of okay. Because he's shielded.
The fact that he doesn't have a helmet. He's got a shield.
He's permanently shielded. It's okay. You're going to try and shoot him in the head, but it's going to get deflected by a shield.
Yep.
I'm okay with that. I'm not okay with walking tank with no helmet on.
None of us are.
So can we go on to a brighter topic?
Now, speaking of, because I was one of my things I wish to discuss was Space Wolves related, more philosophical question, if you will. So as far as you guys know, but many of you gentlemen and ladies at home do not know, there's a very famous catchphrase in reference to the Space Wolves called "There are no wolves on Fenris."
Right.
Now, for those who do not know, history lesson, it came from the book Thousand Sons. The Thousand Sons are meeting up with one of the Space Wolf commanders who wanted to ask Magnus to come help Russ. And as they're walking, one of Magnus's commanders goes, "Do you think those wolves actually grow that size naturally, or do they genetically enhance them?" And Magnus goes, "There are no wolves on Fenris." And they're like, then what are those wolf-like things they're with? And they're like, no. What I mean is they're not indigenous to Fenris. They were imported and bred to survive the cold, so they're not a natural creature of Fenris.
Right.
Do you think that this was all Magnus meant, or do you think he meant something else by his line, "There are no wolves on Fenris"?
I think, honestly, because having read that and having read both the books, and it's his proverb, but it's also Lehman Russ's proverb, "There are no wolves on Fenris." I think it's Thunderwolves and Fenrisian wolves are all genetically engineered to survive, clearly brought over from Terra and other places to live there. So it's a literal thing, and I think there might have been I think I might have a undertone of cunningness in there. Like there are no wolves on Fenris. When you say these wolves, these savages, these stuff like that, I think the idea is that I think if we're going to get philosophical on this, which I don't think was the point.
That's what I want.
Yeah, but I don't think that was the point of Magnus making. But I think if you read into it, it could be a whole kind of thing. There are no wolves on Fenris. We're all very trained, really in touch with our emotions, stuff to not go crazy type of people. If that's anything, because we see a big thing about the Space Wolves saying we're cunning, but we can attack like savages. We have the thing with Lehman Russ where he's like, it looks like Lehman Russ is acting like because he's a primer.
Yep.
And the general consensus is that he's putting on a show for his fellow Space Wolves who act more naturally this way.
It's actually even in the book Prospero Burns, when Magnus goes and meets up with Russ, he goes, "Really, Russ?" Or he's like, "No, dude, I'm just playing. Relax."
Yeah, and it's good. And then there's a scene when Russ thinks he's talking through a medium to Magnus, when it's actually a demon coercing the whole thing. Spoiler, who cares? But he takes some pride. He drops the act and like is pleading with Magnus, "Brother, don't make me do this." Like,
he's like, "Seriously, dude, all joking aside,
stop." So I think that might be a part of the Arnold Wolves on Fenris type bit. But I think mostly it's just, it's Fenris. It's kind of really, really cold there. There really aren't any wolves on Fenris. We had to engineer them out of rhinos and stuff. So that's my thought.
Stark, what do you think?
I have no idea. I just don't care about Space Wolves anymore.
I personally think, and this is my personal thing, I think the whole "there are no wolves on Fenris" is kind of because Magnus eventually Magnus has known that about the wolf thing. I think the meaning is more, you don't trust everything the Space Wolves say because they claim the wolves are from Fenris. What else are they hiding?
Right.
Essentially saying you have a secret and we may not be aware of it, but we know that it's there.
Right. I mean, and that's the thing with Space Marine chapters. Every chapter has their secrets.
Yep.
Every chapter, Ultramarines included. Everybody's got, and I put them as included because they're so out there and open to read about.
Yeah. And everyone's like, they're the most good guys of all the chapters.
Well, they kind of are. They're the leader.
They are, but they still have their secrets.
Every chapter has their secrets. Every chapter has their rituals. Every chapter has things that are ruthless to them. I hope, honestly, that it really is just literally there are no wolves on Fenris. I would really like it just to be a literal thing, kind of like that book about a guy fishing on a boat, where everybody's putting all this great literal, like, philosophical meaning to it. And I was just like, I'm just wrote about a dude fishing on a boat. What are you talking about? So that's what I hope it ends up with that saying. But as I know the Stark Lord, because I spoke with him like a while ago on this. And I've seen on the books of Facing, you guys have seen a movie recently.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So it was Tammy, right? That's what
yes, we saw Tammy.
Great movie.
Fantastic. Best comedy of the year.
It was words fail to describe the Shakespearean poetry of that film.
I think words just describe that.
No, see, that's how it is. I'm failing to describe these words, because even the words I used are dull, unpolished silver compared to
it's kind of like the idea of, think of the big, well, it's kind of like a big, explosion, but it's that you've ever heard of, but it's more than that. He's failing at describing it. But yeah, anyway, so let's jump off the Space Wolf bridge. Let's go to somewhere warmer, better, fuzzier thoughts. Let's talk about a little bit of the movie that I know we all seen.
Yes, and that film is Lucy.
Yes, Lucy.
I did see Lucy. Lucy was
good. You know.
Did you guys actually see Lucy, by the way?
No, I wanted to.
No, I haven't. I'm interested to see what we are capable of doing if we used 100% of our brains.
Yes.
You all know I have a problem with that line. Otherwise, good movie.
I don't see why it's so true. I mean, I only use 10%. You only use 10%.
I'm going to punch you so hard.
If I get... Don't make me use 11% of my brain, all right?
He will. Look, he will do stuff.
Frankly, that part of the premise, whatever, stupid. I'm ignoring it. But watch it. The cinematography is great. Like, they do like these... I keep calling it smash cuts with their quick sudden jumps to other things. Like, the first 15, 20 minutes of the movie, there's all these visual metaphors they do, and they're fantastic.
All I gotta say, I like the actress. I like what she does with her work. And Morgan Freeman.
She's good.
I just want to hear Morgan Freeman talk. That's the sole reason I want to see.
There's a book that's an audiobook that's just him talking.
But, like, if he's talking about something, I'm listening. Like, he was...
Ever since I was born.
I listened to him singing as Vincent the Vegetable Vampire, okay? Because it's him.
I mean, right now I am just sitting here with a script in a recording booth. It is coated in a foam that looks like egg crates. Yes. It is soft and spongy.
Listen, you're butchering his accent. Okay.
Like a Twinkie.
His voice. Let's not like a Twinkie.
I'm not trying to be his voice. I'm just, that's what he says in this audiobook.
Oh, yeah.
It's just him talking.
But, no, yeah, anytime Morgan Freeman talks, I'll listen. It doesn't matter what he's talking about. I can't help it. His voice just does that to you. But, that's the only thing that Guardians was missing, was his voice.
Guardians of the Galaxy. Yes.
Guardians good.
It was good. I wouldn't build. I'm not wanting to build up movies like, oh, watch it or you're doomed. But I enjoyed the movie. It was definitely probably the best movie I've seen this year.
It was by far the funniest of all the Marvel movies, and I loved it for that.
It was funny. It was entertaining.
It was very Firefly-ish.
It was any roguish space group. It was fantastic. Like James said, I'm not going to tell you to go out and see it, but you should go out and see it. It was probably the best movie I've seen all year.
I'll have to say, once again, this film proved just how great of a voice actor Vin Diesel was.
Yeah.
Because he put, as everyone knows, he plays Groot, and all Groot can say is I am Groot. But the way Vin Diesel says the line, you could always tell that that's not what he's saying.
Yeah, no, he did a good job, and if you listen to his thing about it, it was very therapeutic for him to help him get over Paul Walker's death. So he put his whole thing into it, having fun
Paul
with
Walker,
it.
forgive me?
The guy Fast and the Furious who got killed in the car accident and the driver,
right.
and the race car driver with him also died. So he actually took this.
About that.
He took this as therapeutic to help him not get over it, but help him deal with his grief because this was a very happy character for him. And he said that is the happiest character he's actually ever played when you think about it. And so he really took hold of that, and he felt it to be very therapeutic, which is kind of an interesting idea to think of acting as a character. But he did a good job. I mean, I enjoyed the movie. See, now here's my deal with the movie. I don't know much about Guardians of the Galaxy myself, and if you don't know anything about it, you're not going to be lost. So they did a very good job with that.
They did a very good job.
But if it's not your thing, it's not your thing. You don't have to see it. And I say that by this example. I have pushed people to see the Captain America movies because people hear his name and see what he is and think he's going to be really lame and boring, where actually it's surprisingly good for what he does. The Guardians of the Galaxy, you can tell it's going to be a fun, good movie. So you see it or you don't see it. It's not a movie I think that might get swept under the rug a little bit. Not that Captain America did, clearly, but I have told people to see that, they should go out and see it, invest their time in it, because you'll enjoy it as more than what you think it is. I don't have to say that here because it's quite clearly what it is. They did a good job.
I'm putting something in the chat discussion because I want to say it, but I don't know if it would count as a spoiler. But I liked what they did, very much so, and I never realized the Collector was related to Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah, me either.
Because it wasn't until I saw his name in the credits in the very beginning. It goes so and so.
Is Benicio del Toro related to Del Toro? I thought they just had the same last name. I don't think they're related.
I thought they were related. I don't know.
I thought they were related.
Huh. Also, that thing you just put it into the bottom thing. Your brother's an idiot. I'm sorry.
Yes. Oh no. I agree.
When I meet your brother,
even his 13-year-old daughter is on my side, going, "No, Dad, that's not him. This." He goes, "No, it's him." And I even said, "Dude, the director outright said the dude at the end of Avengers is not that guy." And he's like, "No, it totally is." And I was just glad that they finally establish this thing. And I'm just like, thank you, please, now make my. I told my niece, I was like, make your dad see this film so he could shut up about this.
I will say, and I'm not gonna give spoilers away because we've seen this in a coming attractions.
Spoiler.
No.
Yeah.
I didn't want to say drop any names so people get excited.
It might be somebody they don't know the name of the character, so it could be kind of a spoiler. Yep. But in the trailer, when the Star-Lord gives us the finger and it blurs it out and everything.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
I was really hoping that would have been staying in the film, and it didn't. You actually see, because I thought it would be a very cool idea of a police station essentially having a auto censoring
that would have been cool.
And I was kind of hoping that would stay there. And
I like where he tries to close it.
Yeah, but I was kind of hoping it would have stayed, censored out and blurred, kind of like they have that auto thing in their correctional facility, but it didn't, unfortunately. And I'm not gonna say I was disappointed, but I'm like, oh, that would have been funny.
Yeah.
But no, it was good. I enjoyed it.
It doesn't say that well, they say his father is Gustav Adolfo del Toro.
Yeah, I thought they were, but I know
many
nothing about
Del's relatives are involved in Puerto Rico's legal system. He has an older brother, Gustav.
Wait, where is he from?
He is from Puerto Rico.
Yeah, Guillermo del Toro is from Mexico.
Just Mexican.
So they're
there we go.
Unless they're like distinct cousins. You never know.
Maybe. But Benicio del Toro is a great actor, and the fact that they have him be the collector is wonderful.
Rocket was awesome. I loved Rocket.
You know who was really out of the park that was really happy, that I really enjoyed? Drax.
Drax was really good.
Drax, the biggest concern I had, Batista isn't a well-known actor. I mean, he's a wrestler. But what they gave him to work with, he totally kicked ass with. Like, he blew it out of the park. I don't have a favorite character because they're all fantastic, but he was great, and he's got some of the best quotable lines.
Nothing gets over my head.
My reflexes are too good.
My reflexes are too quick. I love that line.
No, it's
but
good.
I love the whole characters were great, but I just liked Rocket Raccoon was he just had so many great one-liners. I liked him a lot.
What I like about the film is every main character clearly had the focal point character, clearly.
Yeah.
But the others of that main cast for it, none of them felt tacked on. Like, they all felt they were used properly. And when something like Avengers, where the main people with superpowers and abilities were used properly, but then you had Hawkeye and Black Widow were kind of there. They kind of did stuff, but they were really more like you take them or leave them characters in the Avengers. And then Captain America 2, Black Widow gets used a lot more, and she really develops as a character there. But I like how in this movie, everybody was part of it. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't. You didn't feel like one character could have been left out. Everything was used properly. And I like that because that was my concern. When you have a group as the main focal point,
power gem. You
have groups who are just people in the group that might be kind of just left in the wind, and nobody was left in the wind.
Yeah,
that is true. It was very. I said that very did hold true to making it try not to go, this guy is awesome, and kind of go, I don't like this dude, we're not going to even talk about him.
So yeah, that they did go with that, and got me thinking, because this movie, obviously you could tell by the news about it, is doing really well, right?
Yep.
And when I first announced this, I felt it was going to be, I felt this movie was kind of more of a test. I think The Avengers was a test of movies coming into one movie, but I felt this was a test because we had some out there characters like Rocket the Raccoon and it was and the tree guy for
Groot.
Yeah, Groot. But kind of out there in terms of that, because those are out there characters, and it's not just somebody painted up in a different color. So with that having been successful, and obviously Marvel knows how to do their stuff right, what are some other comic series or things that you want to see that's kind of out there in terms of characters, but you think this proves successful, and maybe this is going to open the way for more out there characters?
Well, first with that, I have to say I think that the reason they did this right now is to establish, because apparently, supposedly, this is movie 1 in Phase 3, is to establish that some crazy out there stuff, like what you saw in Avengers 1, is just the tip of the iceberg of what crazy out there stuff can be in this universe.
Right, but I mean, and it succeeded, so now what do you want to see in that?
I don't know much of Marvel's out there universe to really
it doesn't have to be Marvel. I mean, in general.
So much. Look, all this really proves is that you can take random characters that no one really cared about since the 70s, who just recently got comic again in the 2000s, and it's a great comic. But basically something that's not well known, and make a great movie out of it, with good writing, good directing, and good acting. In other words, make a good movie and people will watch it.
To a point. I mean, if you put some really out there stuff, people... Suspension of disbelief only goes so far. Marvel has the advantage of it being comic book, so that has a pretty big suspension of disbelief. Now, do they get the rights back for Fantastic Four yet?
I don't
Not
think
yet.
so.
Sony is making a new movie right now.
Are they?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
I was really hoping Marvel
you ever
get it
seen
back
Rock
and
and Roller?
Fantastic Four movie.
You ever see Rock and Roller?
No.
Well, the main character of Rock and Roller is playing Dr. Doom. They are apparently going with a stepbrother, stepsister deal with Sue and Johnny because they're two different ethnic races.
What? But that's just so weird.
That doesn't bother me too much. But it comes out in 2015.
But why? Why not just have brother and sister be brother and sister of one ethnic race or the other? You know what I mean?
I think it's just get everybody all happily.
That
it looks like we're going to be seeing a Dr. Franklin Storm. Let's see. Toby Cabell is playing Victor Von Doom. Kate Mara is Sue Storm. Miles Teller is Reed Richards. Jamie Bell is Ben Grimm. And Michael B. Jordan is playing Johnny Storm.
I know who none of these people are.
Michael Jordan?
Yeah. No, not Michael Jordan. Michael B. Jordan.
So
Jordan.
Space Jam makes the Fantastic.
That'd be great. It'd be really nice if we just get the Silver Surfer back in the normal Marvel books, because that'd be wonderful.
Unfortunately, because he appeared in the Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer, he can't be used anymore.
Well, what if we just don't refer to him by name?
We just call him the Herald.
What if he's the Platinum roller skater?
Have you guys seen Wrath of the Titans?
Nope.
Yeah.
The Navigator.
What about him?
That's Dr. Doom.
Okay. But here's my point.
He was also in The Sorcerer's Apprentice, Drake Stone.
Okay, I know who that is, because I saw that movie.
Yeah.
You know,
yep.
I've never really found a point of changing up characters, ethnicity one way or the other. I mean, it's cool. It's whatever. It doesn't bother me as far as the character's wrong as a character. But I never really felt the point, and it feels almost like you're making it something out of nothing, by changing it. There's no real need to change it. You're just doing it. Now you're making something out of this. And it just... I just think if you're going to have... They could have just went and had both of them be the same ethnicity. If they wanted them to both be, of a certain persuasion, why not? It would have been. I think that would have been cooler than just having them step, because then
I think they just said let's just get two good actors and not care about anything except for acting ability. I would hope.
I don't know who these actors are, but
I don't either.
But
well, I think that's going to work to their advantage, because I think one of the problems with the first two Fantastic Four films were they were banking really hard on people seeing it because of who was playing Invisible Woman.
Well, that's
but she's a terrible actress.
But also,
but everyone was going, well, she's hot, so people will go see it because of that.
For some reason to see a movie.
Well,
I've seen people do that. I've seen people who go, this movie looks stupid, but that actress is so hot.
People do that all the time. People of the world, just give me a second. People of the world, stop watching movies because there's an attractive person in it. Watch it because the story looks good.
We don't need movies that have good story. Let's start off with that. Writers of the world. Make good stories. But, But honestly, watch a movie for whatever you want to watch it for. If that's why you want to watch a movie, that you're gonna be giving mind to things that really shouldn't have done that well, fine. But don't, I think certain things such as pre-established comic book characters and groups should not be done in that manner. You can do it for anything else, really, if you want to just go, hey, we're going to make a movie on sex appeal, but I don't think a comic book movie should be made that way.
Yeah.
And going along with that, not that, the internet's a terrible place. I'm sure there's terrible fanfic for Sue Storm and Johnny Storm already, but now this just makes it a little bit more almost like, hey, it's kind of accepted because they're stepbrother and sister, and I hate those people, so don't do that. So, I had to go there because, the internet. The internet's a terrible place.
It is.
It is
a horrible, unfriendly place.
But
and I'm sorry, but I'll just have to say this: the end credit scene was glorious.
Yes, by the way,
you weren't there. I was there with Matt the Clown. He started yelling at the screen, like he was shouting in just shock and I don't know what else. He was freaking
anger?
out. It wasn't anger. He's like, you can't just do that. And name character.
You don't understand. Is I used to torture my brother with that.
I know.
Well, there's
another character in there that unfortunately didn't have any lines, and I wish he had. Made me a little sad.
Which character was this?
there were only 3 characters in that end bit: Benicio del Toro, that guy we're not mentioning, and that other thing. The major character in the Guardians, who didn't have a single line.
That's okay, you know.
I know. I just hope he's in the next one.
But here's the thing with that. Clearly, stay. Well, what you should take away from this, if you haven't seen the movie yet, stay till the end of the credits.
Yes.
I don't want to say it's an obvious thing because there have been some comic book movies that have done that and then just didn't have something after the credits, so it's not that obvious.
But even still, those poor men and women gave up like 3 to 4 months of their lives to make this film. You can sit there for 3 minutes to watch their name scroll by.
Yes and no. I mean,
also, all Marvel movies have an ending.
I put in my is that what you're talking about?
Look at it. Yep.
But, okay. Here's, with the whole, I believe, the credits are important. Stay through them anyway. Mm-hmm. But I'm gonna be honest. I don't read them. I can care less whose names are on there.
It was great. After I saw that scene, I immediately called my mom. I was like, "Mom, you will not believe what I just saw," and she was like, "Holy crap!"
Yeah, but I'm gonna be honest with that. I don't. But all right, so you don't know Marvel now. If DC got their stuff together, what out there thing would you like to see? Aside from a successful Green Lantern.
Yeah, I was about to say, besides that was
I'm sorry, but I like the original one.
Liking it and it being a successful movie are two totally different things.
It was successful, yes, but it's like everyone always trashes it, and I'm like, that was a good movie.
I enjoyed the movie, but it wasn't a financial success to warrant them doing anything.
I will admit that it was a financial flop, but I just don't get why. It wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad because you're a fan. Like, I watched it and I enjoyed it, but it's not good. Like, it goes in my, this is a bad movie that I like pile for me.
No, for me, to be perfectly honest, it wasn't total fandoming because I went into the film going, this movie is going to suck. I went in there expecting to walk out disappointed.
See,
so that's what you should always do with every movie, in my opinion.
Always assume it's going to be bad. Fan, but I went in there, I enjoyed the movie, I thought it was fine. I thought it was a fine movie for Green Lantern. I think the problem is that it's DC and it's Green Lantern, and people just don't understand how out there Green Lantern is.
Oh, you know what they should do? Here's what they should do. Okay, this isn't DC, but it is because it's Vertigo. And it shouldn't be a movie, it should be a TV series. But they should make The Sandman into a TV series.
That'd be kind of cool.
I never read a Sandman comic.
Oh my god. I will lend it to you, but I gave it to a coworker who just officially quit, so I'm never getting that back again.
Nice. Good job. But
I've lost 4 graphic novels over this past 4 months from people basically like borrowing them and disappearing from my life.
See, that's
getting kind of annoyed about it.
I think you should just start not lending it out to random people that you meet unless you've been with them for at least unless you've hanged out with them for at least a year.
It was like 8 months. It
That's
was like
not a year.
It was close enough.
No.
I need to stop lending people comics. I lend people comics way too often.
There's a great conspiracy against you to take your stuff like this. So you gotta be
careful.
Do you know how many times I've bought V for Vendetta?
Too many.
Too many. Because I buy it, I read it.
If it's one, it's too many. No, I'm just joking.
V for Vendetta is really good. I bought 3 or 4 copies of that graphic novel because I've lent it to people and then they this is really good, and then they disappear.
It's like that dude from the big famous Dragon Ball Z site. He's bought 17 copies of the Dead Zone.
The Dead Zone?
Yes,
anyway.
he owns the Ocean dub, then he owns the Funimation dub, then he owns an original release in Japan, then he owns the re-release, then he owns the remastered edition, then he owns the London one because he has to hear them say Big Green.
Here's my point.
He's got 16 different copies of this film.
Here's my point. It's Dead Zone. That's my point. It's just Dead Zone. But have you seen? It was leaked, and it kind of got hard to find the Batman vs Superman teaser from the San Diego Comic-Con.
No, I didn't see it.
It doesn't leave. It's not much of anything. It's almost like a stare-off in a way. But it looks like it just. I don't know. I don't feel anything for it. You know what I mean?
The problem with Batman Superman is it's turning into Justice League, but they won't call it that because they have Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and some other people.
I don't know.
Here's my problem.
Here's
my problem with the Batman vs Superman movie being the first Batfleck movie. Let's establish Batman because people are gonna expect Nolan.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is not going to be Nolan Batman. It'll be close.
Batman needs a movie on his own to establish this is the type of Batman we're going for, and then do the Batman Superman.
I think now this is just me thinking I think they're going with, no one will establish it with this Batman because we never established that this Superman was in that Batman's universe.
It's just
I'm not saying it's a good idea, but I think that's what they're thinking.
I just feel it's kind of playing with fire because they're expecting Nolan. People are gonna have to naturally expect Nolan Batman, even though the actor is totally different, even though everything's different about it, and it's not him. People are gonna expect that type of Batman, which wouldn't work really. And it's a different Batman. It's a different whole thing they're going for, a different feel of the universe.
I feel bad because so far I've liked most of the people they picked to play whoever except for Wonder Woman, but I'm sure she'll prove me wrong.
Who's playing Wonder Woman?
She was in the Fast and Furious movies. I'm not familiar with her.
Which one?
That girl.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyways, I'm just concerned because these are all people that are going to be good actors, and they're probably going to put decent effort in, and the movie's going to be terrible. That movie is going to be so bad, and I feel bad for Ben Affleck because he's going to be a fine Batman, I think.
I feel
and it's
bad
going to be
that
a terrible movie.
I feel bad that Amy Adams is Lois. Oh, right, she was that. I just feel bad that everyone's condemning him before he's even before we've even seen anything for him.
Oh, you talked about that girl from Fast and Furious, Gal Gadot. She'll do fine. She's a good actress.
Oh,
okay.
She's a good actress. Know something?
I don't know how good she actress is. I just know she knows Krav Maga or whatever it's called.
This is a sad thing here.
Yeah.
I've seen this picture of her as Wonder Woman.
Uh-huh.
I honestly thought it was a reboot of Xena Warrior Princess.
That's a good thing in my opinion. I think that's a good picture. That's a decent version of the costume. They added the leather pleat.
I'm just saying. I was like, you're like, wait, that's Wonder Woman? Yeah. I thought that was supposed to be Xena.
Well, if you didn't know, Xena's totally a ripoff of Wonder Woman.
Yeah,
I know. But Jeremy Irons is Jeremy Irons is Alfred.
Jeremy Irons is Alfred.
Yeah.
He's such a good actor, but he does such terrible movies, like the D&D movie.
Oh my! You remember the kid from Zombieland?
Yeah.
He's Luthor.
I know.
Yeah. That's
a lot of people are upset about that. I don't like what they're doing. I think he's going to be a fine Luthor, but I think he would be. But what they're doing for Luthor is stupid. I don't know if you even paid attention to that.
If I'm understanding correctly, he's going to have clan tattoos up his arms,
like gang tattoos. He's supposed to be like kid from the streets that pulled Facebook, but for being nobody. Here's the thing.
Here's the thing. I don't mind that he grew up on the streets because then that explains how this multi-billion-dollar dude has his foot is waist deep in the criminal underworld. It's like, okay, he started with gangs, he got a connection, and now he's got the money, so now he has the power. What I hate is that he tattooed himself.
Honestly, that part. I just feel bad for Ben Affleck. He was in a movie that didn't do well in Marvel. He's going to be in a movie that's not going to do too well in DC. I mean,
yeah.
His only option is to go over to a dark horse.
Daredevil. He was a fine Daredevil.
Daredevil as a movie, I really enjoy it. It was one of my favorites.
You know what?
I know it's not great, but I think
it's way better.
It is. Director's cut is way better.
For what?
And for Daredevil. And Ben Affleck and Michael Clark Duncan were both great in that movie.
Michael Clark, he was
Kingpin.
Kingpin. I also like Bullseye.
Oh yes, we all love Bullseye. We still need to do that.
Apparently, it's rumored that Jason Momoa is playing Aquaman.
My only problem with that is I think Jason Momoa is great. He doesn't really fit the Aquaman build because do you know who Jason Momoa is?
I don't know him too well.
He was the last Conan the Barbarian.
Okay.
He's also Khal Drogo.
In
Game of Thrones. He's a big guy.
I don't watch that. You guys made me kind of sick of Game of Thrones before I even got the chance to watch it.
Well, you should. I don't even watch it. I read the books. Oh.
No, that's the saying. You and the clown constantly talking about. I'm like, I don't want anything to do with this anymore.
Well, here, that's a bit big for Aquaman.
Yeah, I really like him as an actor, but he's a buff guy. He's not like a swimmer.
Aquaman in some adaptations he's drawn very buff.
Like Aquaman
he is super strong guy.
He is, but he should be like a swimmer because he's a swimmer.
Don't
he doesn't swim. He doesn't swim. Have you ever seen Aquaman swim? He kind of like flies underwater.
That's true. He kind of just torpedoes or rides a giant seahorse. You got a point.
Yes. Oh, he was. I didn't know he was Brahm in Aragon, the video game in Aragon. Huh?
Who? Jeremy Irons?
Yeah.
Yeah. Jeremy Irons in lots of bad movies.
So
yes, he is.
I saw recently the Sin City trailer again, and I just basically go, "This is terrible."
There's so many good actors in that too, but I'm refusing to watch that right now.
Sin City is one of those movies where everyone said it was this glorious, groundbreaking thing, and then when you go to see it, you go, why?
The first one, I saw it in theaters, I thought it was alright. I tried to watch it again, I couldn't really get through it.
That's
the first
exactly
one. The second one is way too long of space in a frame of time to come out as a sequel. I hate when movies do that.
When they come out so far after the original.
You're not Blizzard Entertainment. You can't do that.
Also, I'm concerned about when is it going to take place, because, like, they have some of the characters from the first one reappearing, but, like, I'm pretty sure some of them are dead at the end of the first movie.
All of them died.
They took all the dead characters and brought them back in this movie. I'm confused.
I don't get... Honestly, though, when it comes right down to it, I'm not giving Frank Miller any of my money ever again, so I'm not watching this movie.
Well, after Batman and Robin...
Not for comics, not for movies. I'm done with that human.
Watch this. It's not a matter of saying you're not going to get my money. That's not a matter of it. It's just the fact that it just looks bad. It just doesn't look very... Like, I'd have no...
Frank Miller! But it's got so many good actors in it. It's got, like...
Yeah, but,
Joseph Gordon-Levitt and all those wonderful people.
It still looks bad. And I have to say, I've seen the Turtles trailer, the more recent one. I'm kind of excited to see the movie. I don't care what anybody says.
I'm refusing to watch that movie because out of principle that Michael Bay should not think that he can do whatever he wants and we will see it.
See, I don't have a problem. I mean, that's a terrible viewpoint from the have, but I'm not going to punish an entire movie and cast for that.
They knew what they were getting into when they saw whose name was on it.
I think that's a little, far to go. Because, granted, I'm not saying... Comparing it, now, people say, the Turtles look terrible, it's going to be a terrible movie, whatever. But when I compare that to the Sin City trailer, Sin City looks so bad, and makes the Turtles look so good in comparison.
You know what, you got a point there. I wasn't planning on seeing Turtles because it doesn't look good to me, but it does look way better than Sin City.
And you know what, I'm just excited for it.
This is one of the films that, I will see it when it comes out on Netflix.
Okay.
Because at that point, he's already got the money, so I'm paying for it regardless, so then I'll see it then.
I'm going to see it when it comes out, just because I'm honestly that curious about it, and I'm kind of excited for something. It's not my childhood. I know this going into it, because they're completely different.
Yeah.
But I'm just excited for it. I don't know why. It makes me feel like a little kid again a little bit, and I just have to see it.
So, with that, we are sadly run out of time for this podcast. Just one last quick thing is also someone answered your question about memes. Apparently, one person says it is pronounced Mimi.
They're wrong. It's meme.
It's me.
But
it's me.
But
it's pronounced meme. It's pronounced GIF. Everyone get over it.
Or GIF. I'll say GIF.
I still prefer GIF, but it's. I think the dictionary is officially going to change the next outing and go with GIF all the time.
Here's the thing. Any questions in the comments, right? Who would like, who likes the idea of having, of different editions of the dictionary and randomly changing words? I'm like, come on, that should be a bit more permanent.
The dictionary changes every couple of years. What I think is the best, totally random. So. Mostly, like, with English, I know we're out of time, but English, like, the dictionary decided. I really like the French system. They have, like, a committee decide whether or not words are allowed to be in the French language. I love that.
That's kind of how it should be. Language is that important.
And because of that, that's why any of you out there planning to be time travelers, learn French. It's a language that has changed the least over the last 2,000 years. In fact, it's the only language you can go back to year, 0 and probably speak. Actually, that's probably not true. But you can go back to you can go back to the 1300s and speak French, and you'll be fine. You can't do that with English.
No. And so, with that, we are out of time. And so, leave in the comments if you saw Guardians of the Galaxy. What did you think? What do you think about the Space Wolves? What's your thoughts on the line, there are no wolves on Fenris? And what are you most excited about? Are you excited about the Batman Superman movie, the new Avengers films, and all these crazy other movies that we've talked about? Let us know in the comments. And once again, if you have any questions for us, feel free to leave a comment, and we will answer it on a future podcast.
Yes, we will, and I'll answer it now. No, I'm not going to see 50 Shades of Grey. So
maybe you aren't.
I'm going to the midnight showing for that.
So
100%.
With that, thank you all for listening, and until next time, Fearless Gamers, this is Matt the Vet.
James the Wild Card.
And the Stark guy.
Saying take care.
Bye-bye now.
Yeah.